He's made contact with Berthold. He knows exactly what's happened.
Years ago, when Coichy was manager.
He used to tell me how much of a bad father my dad was.
What really happened to Paul Gascoigne? The man once hailed as England's most naturally talented footballer now fights battles far removed from the pitch. In July 2025, Gazza collapsed at his home in Poole. He was found barely conscious in his bedroom and rushed to intensive care. This was just the latest grim chapter in a story that has been unfolding in public for decades. How did a player who captured the nation's heart end up here? How did the hero of Italia '90 become a man living in his agent's spare room? The answer lies in a tale of self-destruction, poor choices, and demons that have consumed him from within. Think back to 1990. Paul Gascoigne was the most naturally talented English footballer of his generation. At the World Cup in Italy, he was brilliant. His performances drove England to the semi-finals. But it was the moment he broke down in tears after receiving a yellow card that made him immortal. The cameras captured his face crumpling on the pitch. That raw emotion was broadcast around the world. He returned home to Gazzamania, a media frenzy that would never truly end. The nation fell in love with him. They loved his skill, his passion, and his authenticity. He was our flawed genius, a working-class boy from Gateshead who played football like it was art. But the cracks were already there. They had been there since childhood. Before we uncover the dark truths that led to his tragic downfall, if you think Gazza's story is a crucial lesson for modern football, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments what you think was the single biggest cause of his ruin. The pain started early. At 10 years old, Gascoigne witnessed the death of a friend's younger brother in a traffic accident. The trauma scarred him deeply. It gave him obsessions, twitches, and an anxiety that would haunt him forever. Football became his only escape. As he later wrote, it was the only place where he did not have twitches or worry about death. This created a dangerous pattern. His brilliance on the pitch was always tied to his turmoil off it. When football ended, so did his escape route. The disease of alcoholism has been his most visible battle. During his playing days, he was what he called a happy drunk. He drank socially. He was the life of the party. But that version of Gazza is long gone. In March 2024, he admitted he is now a sad drunk. He does not go out anymore. He drinks alone indoors. This shift from social drinking to solitary drinking marks a dangerous evolution of his addiction. It shows a man who no longer seeks connection, but instead seeks oblivion. His battle with alcohol is a brutal cycle. He has managed periods of sobriety. He has done 5 years sober. He has done 4 years sober. Even before his July 2025 collapse, he had been sober for 3 months while working on speaking engagements. During that time, friends said he looked really well, but then he crashed again. This pattern reveals a troubling truth. His recovery is not just a private battle. It is a public performance. The structure of work keeps him stable temporarily. When the work ends, the crash often follows. The pressure of performing wellness may itself be unsustainable. He knows he is an alcoholic. He has returned to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. He admits he is ignorant to himself. He always thinks he will be all right having just one drink. Sometimes he can have a couple and stop, but then a month later, he will hit it hard for 2 days. The disease tricks him every time. He has tried extreme measures. He spent £20,000 on a procedure to have anti-alcohol pellets sewn into his stomach. The pellets were designed to make him violently ill if he drank. Yet still, the battle continues. Compounding his alcoholism is a constellation of severe mental health conditions. Gascoigne has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and obsessive-compulsive disorder. He has openly battled severe depression and anxiety. These are not separate issues. They create a vicious cycle with his addiction. His OCD has manifested in disturbing ways. There are reports he once forced his stepson to flush a toilet 100 times. This is the severity of his condition. These struggles are rooted in that childhood trauma. The intense pressure of his career and the relentless media scrutiny acted as accelerants on a pre-existing vulnerability. He speaks directly to this connection. He tries not to get down because when he is really down, that is when he picks up a drink to cheer himself up. For Gascoigne, alcohol has always been a failed attempt to self-medicate a pain that began long before he ever kicked a ball professionally. The financial cost of his struggles has been catastrophic. At his peak, Gascoigne amassed a fortune exceeding £20 million. His earnings were colossal. He received a £2 million signing fee when he joined Lazio. He earned £1.25 million a year at the Italian club. He had a £2 million boot deal with Adidas. He earned £30,000 a week at Middlesbrough as late as 1998. Today, those riches have long disappeared. His estimated net worth is now in the region of a mere £75,000. His financial history is littered with crises. He has faced bankruptcy proceedings multiple times. In 2016, he narrowly avoided bankruptcy by paying an outstanding £42,000 tax bill. Most recently, in July 2025, his personal business, Gazza 8 Limited, was compulsorily struck off and dissolved. He had failed to submit his accounts. The company was meant to manage his earnings from media work. Now it is gone. Parallel to his financial collapse has been his tortuous relationship with the tabloid press. The 2022 BBC documentary Gazza reframed his story. It cast the media not as passive observers, but as active antagonists in his downfall. During the 1990s circulation wars, Gascoigne became a pawn. He was a source of endless, lucrative content. The documentary detailed the underhand methods used to get stories. There were paid informants within his inner circle. He was a victim of the News International phone hacking scandal. This relentless, often illegal scrutiny fueled his paranoia. One former tabloid reporter admitted in the film that they did not care if he was an alcoholic. The guy ended up diagnosed with extreme paranoia when the reality was he was not paranoid. It was genuinely true. This history makes his current situation all the more complex. The very media entities that once exploited him are now his business partners. His new memoir, 8, is being published by Mirror Books. Mirror Books is an imprint of Reach plc, which owns the Daily Mirror. The Daily Mirror was one of the key tabloids from his most turbulent era. To promote the book, he grants exclusive interviews to these same outlets. He appears on their television programs. This is not forgiveness or hypocrisy. It is a stark reflection of his limited options. To earn a living, he must engage with the machine that contributed to his unravelling. He is caught in a trap. His own narrative of trauma and recovery is both his to tell and a commodity to be packaged and sold by the organisations that once twisted it for their own gain. The turmoil of his life has taken a heavy toll on his personal relationships. His marriage to Cheryl Gascoigne lasted only from 1996 to 1998. It was short and turbulent. The relationship was marred by domestic violence, which he publicly admitted to in a 1994 newspaper interview. The divorce was bitter. Yet their connection remains deeply complex. Years after their split, Cheryl was seen weeping as she left the clinic where he was being treated. It is a powerful image of the enduring, painful bond between them. His relationships with his 3 children have been similarly fraught. His bond with his adopted daughter, Bianca, appears to have strengthened in recent years. She has become a source of public support. In 2017, she said they had become close over the last year. In 2021, she shared a family photo on social media. She wrote that moments like these she would cherish forever, with all the family back together. During his July 2025 health scare, she was reportedly in close contact to stay informed of his condition. He maintains a strong relationship with his biological son, Reagan. When Reagan, a professional dancer, came out as bisexual, Gascoigne's response was one of unconditional love. He told him it did not matter, that he would support him 100%. He said Reagan had to do what made him happy. He added that he was very proud of him. The relationship with his adopted son, Mason, is the most troubled. In the aftermath of the divorce, the acrimony was extreme. Gascoigne claimed to have received a text message from teenage Mason that read, "Go and take some pills, fuck off, and die. You are a loser." For his part, Mason alleged that Gascoigne had been physically abusive. Gascoigne denied this. The dynamic is further complicated by reports that Mason has faced his own significant struggles with addiction. One ex-girlfriend alleged he binged on cocaine, booze, and gambling. This suggests an intergenerational echo of trauma and addictive behaviours. Gascoigne's life serves not only as a source of pain, but also as a tragic cautionary tale for a son seemingly walking a similar path. Despite this difficult history, in a 2020 interview, Gascoigne stated he had a good relationship with them all, specifically including Mason. The current nature of their bond remains unclear. His physical health remains a significant concern. The July 2025 collapse that saw him hospitalised in intensive care underscores the ongoing fragility beneath his periods of apparent wellness. His living situation is a humbling reflection of his financial state. As of early 2024, he confirmed he is living in a spare room at the home of his agent, Katie Davies, in Dorset. For a man who once commanded multi-million-pound transfer fees and owned lavish properties, this reality is a stark indicator of his financial ruin. It shows his deep reliance on his immediate support network for basic stability. Despite his health and personal challenges, Gascoigne remains an active public figure. His primary source of income appears to be an extensive speaking tour. An evening with Paul Gascoigne events are scheduled across the UK throughout 2025, from Portsmouth and Dudley in June to Billingham and Great Yarmouth in the autumn. These events offer fans the chance to hear him speak about his career and his personal trials and tribulations. There are audience question and answer sessions and VIP meet and greet opportunities. This schedule reveals a crucial aspect of his current existence. His life story, with all its glory and trauma, has been packaged into a product. His job is the monetization of his own legend. He survives financially by constantly reliving and recounting his past, both the triumphs and the tragedies, for a paying audience. This creates a psychologically complex situation. The very act of earning a living requires him to remain tethered to the events that have caused him the most pain. Central to his 2025 activities is the promotion of his new memoir, 8. The title is deeply personal. It references not only his iconic shirt number from Euro 96, but also the 8 emotions he says have run riot through my life, sometimes all in the same afternoon. Coming 2 decades after his first autobiography, this book represents a conscious effort to reclaim his own narrative with the benefit of hindsight. He has stated his primary motivation for writing the book was to try and help others who may be facing similar struggles. The promotional material bills the memoir as honest, raw, moving, and ultimately uplifting. It promises to show the world Paul Gascoigne as never before and allow people to get to know the real me. This endeavour is both a genuine attempt at reflection and a necessary commercial enterprise. But here is the paradox. Despite everything, Gascoigne is still loved. The public response to his July 2025 collapse was not judgment. It was an overwhelming outpouring of affection and concern. Fans called him a national treasure and England's greatest. This affection is inextricably linked to his vulnerability. The public narrative of Gazza is a powerful blend of his on-pitch brilliance and his off-pitch tragedy. He is loved not just in spite of his flaws, but in many ways because of them. In an age of polished, media-trained athletes, he represents a flawed, brilliant, and profoundly human figure. At 58, Paul Gascoigne exists in a state of profound contradiction. He can look better than ever in May, only to collapse and require intensive care in July. He is a father who has mended deeply fractured bonds with his children, yet lives in his agent's spare room. He is a victim of exploitative media intrusion, who now depends on that same media machine for his livelihood. His recovery is not just a private battle, but a public performance, which is itself a source of immense pressure. Yet, despite the collapses, despite the ruin, despite the pain, Gascoigne demonstrates a remarkable, heartbreaking resilience. The public still adores him. He still gets up. He still tells his story. He still tries. His life serves as a powerful saga of genius, addiction, and the brutal cost of fame. But it is also a story of survival. The final whistle on his personal struggles has not yet been blown. He is, against all odds, still in the game.